Welcome to the Impact Maker's Journey from Passion to Profits, the podcast showcasing heart-centered coaches, experts, and energy healers who are on a mission to change lives and create meaningful success doing what they love. I'm your host, Wendy Vaughn, business success coach and founder of Impact Maker Coaching. And I've got to be honest, the path from passion to profits is rarely easy, but it's always filled with growth, clarity, and surprising rewards. Now, each week I sit down with inspiring impact makers who have turned their knowledge and wisdom into thriving businesses that are making a meaningful difference for others. I will explore their personal and professional journeys, how they found their calling, and how they continue to stay aligned with their passion along the way. So if you're here to expand your vision about what's possible for yourself, you're in the right place. So join me as we discover the positive ripple effects created by today's guest. Hey, hi there. I am so excited. I have as my guest today, Eddie Banks with Banks Family Consulting. Now, Eddie is a wealth and health development consultant. Now, he helps business owners to increase sales, improve their planning, and create operational efficiencies so that they can have more time in their personal lives. And the unique thing about Eddie is he's also a wellness expert. So he provides personal training and nutritional guidance that supports people's health and well-being. So welcome, Eddie. I am so excited to have you as my guest today.
Thank you. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to discovering, more about this work you do, as well as kind of the journey that you've been on as an entrepreneur. And just if it's been that straight and narrow path or one that's taken you down various different avenues. So I'm excited to dive into that.
Yeah.
And, I think because you have expertise within business development, really helping businesses and their owners to succeed in that area, I think you probably agree with my perspective in terms of, it's really about not only a journey of business development, right? And putting in the right strategies and the right skills and knowledge, but it's also a journey of personal development, combining the two to really make that meaningful difference for others. And my opinion is at least that meaningful difference really creates a ripple effect that carries on. I see it as infinitely. So that's why I love the work that you do, because it's not only helping businesses to serve better, but also the owners to have enjoy a better life. So I'd love to hear just a little bit more about your journey. What prompted you to start down this path as a wealth and health consultant?
Well, thank you for asking. I'm happy to be here, and I just got out of a training session with one of my clients. It's funny because it was a business meeting first for their business, and then they trained with me after
Personal training, yeah, in the
that.
gym. So pump and iron, and so they did both. They got their.
Yep,
That's awesome.
exactly.
I
And that's
love
the
that.
whole point. That's the whole point of business is to be able to help your professional and personal life
Yeah,
like merge together. You want that balance.
yeah, they
Sometimes
definitely.
we work too hard, don't think about ourselves. Sometimes we think about ourselves too much and don't work hard enough. It's to
Yeah,
find that meaningful balance between the two. And
yeah,
it took me
so
a while to
important.
get there.
Yeah, it's so important. Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like this is something that has really been near and dear to your heart. So what prompted you to start down this path as a professional?
Well, I was in the military for a number of years, right? About 8 years when I was
Okay.
17. So that was a crazy time. And
Whoa, that's young to get
yep,
into the
yep.
military. Which branch?
I was in the Army.
The Army. Okay.
Yep. And I was training soldiers. Eventually, I got out of the military and I became a personal trainer, but I didn't have a lot of clients at the time. So I had a second job of being like a salesman. So I was a salesman and a trainer at the same time
Got it.
and kind of progressed that line. And eventually I became a business analyst where I was analyzing corporations from a structural standpoint in different states around the United States and figuring out their weak points. Essentially, I was made to poke holes in their planning and to figure
Mm-hmm.
out ways that we could fix those holes with
Right. Yeah,
consultants.
the blind spots, because that's
Right.
something that all business owners have, that, somebody like you with the acumen can see right to those blind spots. So yeah, I love that.
Yep, exactly. So then after that time, I was still a personal trainer. During that, I decided to merge the two. It didn't happen immediately. I started with consulting first. I didn't know that I would be able to merge it, I guess. I didn't even think of that possibility. I just
Right.
kept being a trainer, but opened the business.
Right.
And
So two
so I was
separate
running the
tracks.
business. Yeah, exactly. Because I'm an avid martial artist, right? So
Oh,
I live by certain martial art principles. And so I continue with training because that's a passion of mine. And then business also became a passion of mine.
mm-hmm.
Eventually, the two met together when I realized that you need both, right? It's
Right. The
hard
business
to,
owner
yeah.
needs both. Yeah,
Yes. Yep.
makes
If you
sense.
have both in place, it's like the business can propel because your personal life, you feel more confident, you're in better shape, you train hard, so you break mental barriers that would be in your way, things that would hold you back, things that
Mhm.
may be too tough, hard times in your life. Training kind of helps you deal with hard things in the moment because you have to make a choice when you train. You reach a point where you don't feel like training for the day, but you get up and you train anyways.
Yeah,
And
so
when
true.
you, yeah, exactly. So when you do that, it creates this it breaks the barricade in your mind
Hmm.
that stops you from doing the parts of business that you don't want to do.
Right. Yeah, that is wisdom. That's a golden nugget right there, Eddie, because building a business is not easy. I mean, if it
No,
was easy, everybody'd do it, right? Everybody'd be millionaires. Everybody have,
sure.
8-figure, 10-figure businesses. It is not easy. In fact, the statistics show that it's one of the hardest paths to go down. It
Yes.
takes that grit, that determination, and staying aligned with, this bigger mission or vision of why, but then the right
Mhm.
strategies. So you not kind of, you brought this all together into, the personal and the business, uh, physical and financial well-being. So yeah, I love that. So what are, just so that I better understand, what are business owners experiencing when they realize we got to hire Eddie? We got to hire the Banks Family Consulting because this is not working. So paint a little picture here in terms of what business owners are going through in their life that prompts them to say, Eddie, we need you.
Well, it's usually one of two things. It's usually either they've started their business, but they're not making any progress, or they're making a lot of progress in business, but don't know how to delegate or divvy up responsibilities. So they either don't have employees or they have employees, but don't know how to utilize them correctly. So
Right.
therefore, the owner themselves is doing everything.
Right. That
And
makes
when,
and that's so common because they start out doing everything, and they know everything to, just it's all there. It's all up there.
yeah,
And to teach somebody else is like, oh, it's easier to just do it myself.
yeah,
Right.
they spend so much time working in their business, they don't have enough time to work on their business,
So
which is
you
where we fill in.
help them to create those, a new role for themselves, right? A role as a CEO
Yes.
versus
Yep.
hands-on doer. Okay.
Yep. And we fill in where they can't fill in. So if they don't have marketing, we handle your marketing. If they don't have HR, we handle your HR. We have
Wow.
consultants that specialize in every field that can handle every scenario in any industry.
Wow. So any gap that they have, you can step in with the solution.
Yep.
That's powerful. Yeah, I love that. Well, can you share maybe a story of a client that you stepped in, a situation, a real life experience that they were going through and how they are today?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with the health side, right? So on the health side, there's a woman that I'm training. She has severe multiple sclerosis.
Mm,
So it's very hard for her to move around. She uses two walking canes.
yeah,
And yeah, she came to one of my classes, and that's how I met her. And she wasn't unsure if she was going to be able to do the class, but I reassured her that I make the class easy enough, or at least simple enough for everyone to be able to do. It's simple, but not easy, I guess. So I said easy, but really
sure.
it's not easy. It's hard, but the moves are simple.
Yeah.
So
Don't
when
have
she
to be
came
a
to,
gymnast. You don't have to be
yeah, right,
a
exactly.
triathlete. You can
Yeah,
be you. You can
yes.
be, a normal human being or somebody with a health impediment.
Yep, exactly. And she loved every minute of it. It was one of my kickboxing classes. She loved every minute of it. And from this day, no matter where I go, so I was training a lot at the WAC, but now I'm contracted with the city of New Berlin. So I have an office and a gym with the city. And so she came all the way here. She's like, I'm going wherever you go. So now I train her still, and I train her in Tai Chi, and she loves it.
Oh,
It helps
wow.
with her body and her mind, and yeah, she loves everything about that.
Yeah. Oh, that's powerful because, you just gave her a whole new sense of life, right? The ability to maneuver confidently and gain a whole new set of skills. And then that Tai
Mhm.
Chi is something that's, both.
And on top of that, oh, I'm sorry to cut you off,
No, no,
but
you're good.
on top of that, she doesn't even she uses the walking canes to walk, but she doesn't need them in training.
Wow.
So she can sustain walking or standing long enough to go through training without them. So
Wow.
she's made a lot of progress.
That is tremendous progress. Yeah, I love that. That is awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's a powerful story.
Yes. Now on the business side, that's different. So the business side, I don't have to give any extravagant stories. I mean, I could tell some about, one of the corporations that I helped in North Dakota, a farming corporation. I helped them scale their business from $1 million to near $10 million. I can talk about those things, but I rather talk about stories that matter to me a lot, like personal wise.
Mhm.
And one of those stories was just a young lady that I was dealing with. She was a health professional, like a mental health professional. She didn't know exactly how she wanted to do her practice. She opened her practice, but didn't know how to get the clients rolling in.
Right, the business side of things. That's so
Yes.
common. People get this expertise within their zone of genius, but okay, how the heck do you build a business?
Yep. Exactly. So it's like from there, it's like if you never spent all that time, in sales and marketing and being able to create funnels and manage a CRM, and if you didn't spend time doing that, she spent time learning mental health.
Yeah,
So she didn't know what to do from that point. Like, yeah, you can Google things, but you can Google a lot of things, and there's no real order or structure
right.
to it.
Exactly. You can Google yourself into total overwhelm and procrastination. That's usually
Yep.
the end result.
Exactly. So I stepped in for her, and initially it was just conversations. That's all I start off with, conversations. There's no money involved, and I just hear what they have to say, and I give advice on what they should do. Now, if they need help doing it, that's when we talk about money, because it goes from me talking to you to me helping you, right?
Mhm.
And I have no problem giving out free advice. That's no issue to me, right? As long as it's not taking up all my time. But if you
Right.
ask some questions, I'm not going to
Every
turn you
day for
away.
an hour, Eddie. All right.
Yeah, right.
Not
So,
quite.
yeah, if you ask some questions, I'm going to answer them. I'm not going to turn you away. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she was very curious. She wanted to know what to do. And I told her what to do. And she's like, well, I need help doing that.
Yeah. How the heck do I do that?
Right, exactly. And how do you do it fast enough? Because this was, for her, this was her sole means of income.
Mm,
She went all in. She had no qualms about putting everything on the line. She didn't want to work a job and do the business. She wanted to just do the business. So she
hmm.
spends all day, every day working on the business and not making any progress. And it's kind of, it hits you, it hits you in the chest
Yeah.
because, especially for me at least, I remember when I was spending all day working on the business and not making any money from it.
Hmm.
And as much as we care about people, you still have bills to pay, you have a family to take care of, you have
Yep.
things to do. And so
Last
you
I
don't,
checked, the banks do not cash in hearts and likes.
correct. So
Social
I'm
media
in
posts.
the exactly. And I'm in the business of helping people reach their full potential. And I think financial is a part of that full potential.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I told her that for a minimum price, I'll start with her and then we can scale from there. And that's how I help my clients. We can
Mhm.
start somewhere. Let's start with a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is very cheap, it's easy. I can get an insight into your business, see all the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of your business from an analytical standpoint, and then I can tell you what you need from that point. You can take that and run with it if you want, or you can get me to help you with it. It's up to
Mhm.
you, right?
Right.
So we start there and go from there, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And and that's where I kind of went with her. I started there and I was like, okay, from that point, what are we going to do now? She's like, well, I want you to handle these things so I can just focus on the clients that we're getting. And as her business went up, she was able to pay more, she was able to make more, and we continue working together to this day.
Put in more pieces of the puzzle to continue growing and scaling the business and evolving it. Yeah, I love that. It's definitely so common for experts who are in the business of selling their wisdom, knowledge, supports to not understand what it takes to grow a business because we aren't born with those skills. Just like you said, Eddie, it took me, a little bit to figure all this stuff out. And now everyone that works with you has the benefit of that growth, that learning curve that you went through. So it catapults, just like, as a business coach, that's basically how I see my role is to compress the time and increase the predictability of the results. So yeah, I love that. And I've heard you mention many times a certain phrase. I believe it's from personal to professional to perfection. So
Correct.
what do you mean? Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What do you really mean by that, Eddie?
Yeah, so that's our motto. That's what we believe in. That's the whole mission of the company is to help you with your personal life, your professional life. And once those things unite and meet together in harmony, you've reached perfection. Now, of course, there's no such thing as being perfect, but it's always striving to be better than you were the day before. That's what perfection means to me.
Right.
Right. It's
Yeah.
being better than you were before. If yesterday you made 10 calls, tomorrow make 20 calls. Yesterday you did 10 push-ups, tomorrow do 12 push-ups. It's about just taking the next step and the next step and the next step until
Mm-hmm.
you reach the goal. And then when you reach the goal, make a new goal and reach that goal and make another one and climb that mountain.
Mm-hmm. Bit by bit, step by step,
Yeah.
getting there instead of just this big, overwhelming, giant, you know, thing that feels impossible to
Yeah,
attain.
and the thing is that the reason why it starts with personal is because you are your own worst enemy. You're never
Mm.
gonna have an enemy worse than yourself.
Oh yeah.
Your mind knows everything about you. It knows the points to push. It knows how to get you to lay back down instead of getting up. It knows how to get you to eat more than you should. It knows how to make you watch TV longer than you should. It knows how to get you to ignore your family. It knows how to get you to stop working on your business. Your mind knows all the weak points about you. And
Mm.
if you don't gain control of your own mind, that's where it begins. You have to be able to tell your mind, no, this is what we do. We get up at 5, because we get up at 5. We have to train. Doesn't matter that I'm tired. Doesn't matter that I'm sick. Okay, well, my business, okay, I have to send 20 emails. Well, that doesn't matter that I don't have a lot of time. I got to make time. I have to do this thing. I said I was doing it today. So whatever your mind tells you, you have to tell your mind that this is what we do. This is how we live.
Right. It's non-negotiable. If you want that success,
Yeah.
right? That level of perfection where it is that time, money, wealth, health kind of life that is, it's what we strive for, right? Those levels of freedom and flow and the health that allows us to enjoy the life that we've created. So, and Eddie, you're obviously, very passionate about the work that you do, and you've been on quite a journey, starting with your training within the Army, really gaining, kind of this mental fortitude, because my son's a Marine and I know about the mental and physical fortitude
Yeah.
that is instilled very clearly within you guys. And so that's kind of this driving clarity within you. And, over the course of the last, I guess, 7 years in supporting coaches to build those thriving businesses, what frequently happens that I've seen, and so you can provide your perspective on this, is that passion starts tapering off when the going does get difficult, or things do get complex. The passion starts like diminishing, when it's like, well, I don't really feel like that, or, oh, this really isn't, I don't know, it's not really working, so I feel like quitting, or what other various things that, like you just said, the brain starts serving up to you. So what's your secret to refueling your passion for helping business owners in these two critical areas, health and wealth? How do you keep refueling your passion?
Well, I'm glad you asked that actually. It's no quick like I don't know, no shortcut to it. I live by a single principle, and that's discipline being the foundation of all good traits. To me, without discipline, you will do whatever you feel like doing. And what you feel like doing usually doesn't benefit you or anyone else around you. You have to do what you're supposed to do, even if you don't want to do it. So when I was young, right, this is where my discipline started, I guess, because it didn't start in the military. I strongly believe that the military, they enhance what you already are, because there's some undisciplined people I met in the military too.
Okay.
And they can be dangerous. So, but my discipline started when I was a kid. It started with my first master in martial arts. He did something with us. What he did was he asked us, "What is the thing you hate about training the most?" And we all answered different things. Some people like, "I don't like lifting weights. I don't like jumping. I don't like this. I don't like that." And I answered, "I don't like running because I don't like running." And
I'm with you there. But I do it every day, so just saying. Okay, go ahead.
Exactly. See, and you answered the question. There it is. When I told him I didn't like running, he said, "Okay, now that's your warm up. You're going to run every time you come here." And I dreaded every moment of it. But
But you
even
showed
though
up.
through all that dread, I showed up and I did it. And what ended up happening is now I've reached a point where every day I train, even to this day, I still run. And I don't even think about it. It's not even a second thought. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to run. I've been doing this. Not my
And
body
has
just
it
knows.
become something you love?
Yeah, I wouldn't say
Oh,
love, but it's like it's not a
because it
thought process.
hasn't for me. I still hate it, but I still do it.
But you still do it. That's the point. That's what discipline is.
Yeah,
It's doing the things you don't want to do, even if it hurts. You're
for the
supposed to.
greater good, right? The things that
Yes.
are within the strategy that works.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where my discipline started. And it evolved through the military. It evolved through working jobs that I may not have wanted to work. helping people I may have not wanted to help. Like, yeah, it just evolved as you experience things in life. And now I've gotten to the point where I have a goal to reach, and there's nothing that's going to stand in my way to
Mm,
reach that goal.
I
I'm
love
going
that.
to
I love
push
that.
through all
Yeah,
obstacles to get where I'm trying to get to. And so
right.
I'm trying to teach others to do the same.
Yeah. One of my mentors, on that same note of this big goal, right? Mark Victor Hansen. I don't know if you have heard of him. He's a co-author of
Uh,
Chicken Soup for the Soul series.
yeah.
And he was one of my first mentors, not personally, but I was in a mastermind with him. It's called the 3% Club with him and Bob Proctor, and I forget a couple other heavy hitters. And it was just a tremendous experience. Talk about big visionary people. And one of the things he taught me, he said, Wendy, you have always got to have a big, hairy, audacious goal, something that fuels you, something that gives you goosebumps, something that gets you out of your own way, that's bigger than you. And so for me, throughout my professional career, I've always had new, big, audacious goals, because if I don't have that big goal, then I get stuck in the muck. Then it's too hard. Then it's, oh, I don't feel like the voice changed now. This voice gets louder. I'll just put it that way. And I'm mocking it. So for me, my big, hairy, audacious goal is to empower 1,000 coaches, to reach their biggest vision for themselves and make an impact that's changing the world, because I believe the ripple effects are changing our world and up leveling, uh, overall happiness and joy. So I'm curious, you mentioned that you do have. So what is your big, audacious goal or vision that you have for yourself or your business?
My vision, it comes in two, I guess, categories, intrinsic and extrinsic, right? What on the inside, my goal is to make sure that everyone lives out their life to their fullest potential as best as possible. I want people to see their capabilities and act on it, not just see it.
Yeah.
So I want them to do something about it, do something with it, because everyone has their own unique experiences and their own unique gifts because of those experiences.
Yep.
Two coaches can be in the same room and they can say completely different things and both be correct because they have two different experiences that got them there.
Yep.
And I want everyone to see what they're capable of and to do something with it because the world is missing out. Every
Mm-hmm.
one of us is extremely talented, giving gifts from whatever higher power you want to believe in. Is
Mm-hmm.
we're giving gifts to be here on this planet.
Mm.
And if we don't use them, then we're doing our earth a disservice.
Yeah.
We're saying that we're not good enough, someone else can do it,
Right.
but we shouldn't do that.
But we're holding back that unique gift that we could be bringing forward by playing small.
Yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
that and as long as we can give people that potential, that hope that they can reach their fullest potential,
Mm-hmm.
then I feel like that's where my goal lies intrinsically, is to give people their ultimate potential, their goal, their dream, their purpose, make that a reality, not
Mm.
just a dream, turn dream
Yeah.
for real.
I love
Now
that.
we're talking about extrinsic, that's different. When I scale into business, having multiple locations. Right now, I have my location here. It's going great. I have an enormous facility, different equipment. Uh, I got trainers. I have consultants that work with me for the business side. I have offices, conference rooms, all that. But I want multiple in different places and to expand on that. But the point of that goes back to the intrinsic value, which
Mm-hmm.
is to reach as many people as I can, to help them reach their full potential as business owners and as people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I love that. And really combining the two, a personal trainer, nutritional support, expertise, guidance, and the business acumen that you bring forward. It's such a comprehensive offering that you're bringing forward. and serving so many people in such a meaningful and profound way. So what's the best next step for people who do realize that, you know what, I think I really am playing small. I think I really am holding myself back. Maybe, binge watching Netflix at midnight is not the best choice, if I do want to. So what's the best next step to really see if working with you, teaming up with you is a good choice?
Well, everything begins with the truth. That's what I believe. So I believe it starts with you admitting your faults, the good and the bad. So admitting the things you're good at, admitting the things you're bad at. If you're not good with time management, if you're late all the time, if you don't train, if you watch too much TV, if you're not smart enough, if you're not strong enough,
Mhm.
be stronger, be smarter, be healthier, be better, right? So the only way to become those things is to start with the truth, admitting that you're not these things. I had to do it myself. I had to admit I wasn't smart enough. I told myself that. I was like, you know what? I'm not smart enough. There's people in my class with higher grades than me, doing better than me at school. They're better. That's just what it is. And when you admit that, you now can start taking steps. So I start reading more. I start
But
writing
yeah,
more.
that's the important component. Now take steps.
I
Let's
take
make sure
steps.
we
And that's where I come in at.
let that in, right? Okay.
Steps.
Because
So once you admit the truth, then you can. That's when I will help you, right? And the best way to get that help is to come in and we have a conversation, right? You can come to the office, we can talk about business, or you can come to free training sessions, and we can start with that. I give 2 free training sessions for personal training, and I do a free consultation for the business side.
okay.
So either way, you got initial meetup, right? Conversations, and you can easily get a hold of me at Edwin Banks at banksfamilyconsulting.com,
Okay.
or you can call or text 414-375-5220, right? And I have someone will answer. There's assistants that's connected to that number. If I'm in a meeting or something, one of them will answer you. Someone will always answer you. They have
All right.
access to all the contact info, right?
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a very generous offer for people to really better understand if teaming up with you is the right next move for them, because obviously you have the skills, the expertise, the strategy, the passion, the knowledge, and then just that inner knowingness. So yeah, I love that. So look in the show notes, listeners, for that link that Eddie shared with us, and take that next step, because we're all meant for more, right?
Yes.
All right, Eddie. Well, thank you so much. It's just been awesome having you as a guest on my show today. And thank you for sharing your journey, your vulnerability there in terms of like, hey, I didn't have it all figured out at the beginning, but I put one foot in front of the other and shored up everything that I needed so that I could reach that next level. So thank you for, letting us see the inside view of your evolution, as well as expanding what we now know is possible for business owners, their health, their business success, in terms of just there's no reason why a business owner can't have that level of perfection. So thank you so much, Eddie.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
your
Pat.
time. Keep doing the great work you're doing.
Thank you.
All right. Well, the real life transformations facilitated by experts like my guest today are truly priceless. I mean, happiness, joy, peace, love, right? These are all what each of us ultimately strives for in life. But becoming a sought after and well paid coach or energy healer is often challenging, overwhelming, and frustrating. So, if you're a heart centered coach, expert, or energy healer who's striving for more ease, flow, and abundance, well, I've created a special gift just for you. So, check out the show notes. All right. Well, this is Wendy Vaughn signing off. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to join me for my next episode, where we'll be inspired by yet another impact maker's journey.